The final try to do so, unconventional, and then drives her.
Giulia smartly moving quick on this one. And
the strength and power. Lash extra ticket Wade.
Welcome to the Tea Drop, where the brew is strong and there's lots to talk about. What you just witnessed was Giulia, a former women's United States champion, one of the most decorated women performers to walk through a WWE door in years, losing in 2 minutes, maybe less at this point, the night before SummerSlam too, to someone who is, honestly, no disrespect to her, not in the same conversation in terms of in-ring credibility. And we need to talk about it because this is not just a bad result. This has become a pattern. And this woman deserved better than what WWE gave her last night. Here's the context. Rhea Ripley is injured. She's not vacating the women's championship for God knows what reason we're not doing that. But instead, we're going to have an interim women's championship ladder match, and that will crown the interim champion at SummerSlam Sunday. And it's going to be a 5-women ladder match. 4 women had already qualified prior to last night's SmackDown for that match in the past few weeks. We have Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Charlotte Flair, and Chelsea Green. 1 spot remained. 1 spot. And WWE booked last night Giulia, a former women's United States champion, to fight for it against Lash Legends in the last SmackDown before SummerSlam. All right, let's start this again. 1 spot remained, and WWE booked Giulia, the former United States champion, to fight it against Lash Legend for the final spot in the last SmackDown before SummerSlam. She was in the match, not even giving us the spot outright, fighting for a chance she then would eventually lose in less than 2 minutes. Which she lost it in 2 minutes, a very quick win. Giulia, a former NXT champ, women's US champ, losing the night before the company's biggest summer event, losing basically in a squash match. Let that sit in. It's absolutely trash what they did to her. Lash Legend should not be in this match. If they want, fine, make it a 6-woman ladder match. But this is kind of effed up. That Giulia, one of the most high-performing women's wrestlers of our time at this point, is not given an opportunity for one of the highest prizes out there, but it is being given to Lash Legend, and I get it. She is one of the few heels in this match for Sunday. There's not many heels. There's Jade and Lash. Then Chelsea is mid heel, whatever. Tiffany's pure face, and Charlotte at this time is pure face. I get it. You want to balance heels and faces. You really don't need to for this type of match. It's everyone. You can throw it as everyone's hungry for this opportunity kind of situation. You don't need to do this. You don't need to make her squash like this. And this is why, because some of you may not know the full picture when it comes to Giulia. So let's talk about it, because if no one thinks Giulia deserves it, let's run through a little history of why she should have gotten at least an opportunity for this interim championship. Let's start with some of the facts, because, like I said, some of you may not know the full picture. Giulia, who was an interesting wrestler, she's a Japanese wrestler, but she was also born in London, has Italian roots. She was born in London, but she was raised in Japan. Before she ever set foot in the WWE ring, she had already built one of the most decorated resumes in women's professional wrestling on the planet. In World Wonder Ring Stardom, she is a few things. She was a World of Stardom champion. She was Wonder of Stardom champion. She was Goddess of Stardom champion. She's a 2-time Artist of Stardom champion. She is the 2020 Cinderella Tournament winner. She is the 2022 5-star Grand Prix winner. In New Japan Pro Wrestling, she held the Strong Women's Championship. Come on, guys. This is not a mid-card talent. This is not even a developmental project type of wrestler. This is a finished product that's WWE is misusing big time. When Giulia was brought in, they weren't getting a prospect. She wasn't a prospect. They were getting one of the best women's performers on earth right now. And the company has done almost nothing with that since she lost the first time in NXT. Now I get it. People were like, when she lost the NXT championship against Stephanie, everyone was rooting for Stephanie for the most part because they wanted to give Stephanie that opportunity. But we knew Giulia was going to come back and bounce from that. But since that time, they haven't done great with her. And I don't understand why. She has everything. She has the charisma. She has the personality. She has the skill set. She's able to talk. Now, does she talk perfect English? No, neither does Io Sky, neither does some other international wrestlers, but they give them the opportunity. They give Io the opportunity. I love Io. Nothing against her, but her English is a little broken too. If that's the reason if Giulia's not getting the opportunity, that's horse shit. Because she's able to talk better English than Io. She has the chops to meet or even go over with what Io Sky has. This is a failure of not developing great talent when they have it in the palm of their hands. Let's talk about her career in WWE, starting with NXT. Giulia won the NXT Women's Championship at New Year's Eve in January 2025. She got a big win, proper debut moment during that time. The crowd was there. The hype for her was real. And then WWE turned around and booked her into the title versus title match against Stephanie Vaquer at NXT Roadblock, which I was there. It was on March 11th of that year, which was fine. Everyone was rooting for both, but they wanted to give Stephanie Vaquer the moment to carry the bigger title. So what happened? Giulia lost the title. She had the belt for approximately 6 weeks. She was the NXT champion for that long. I think that's a decent run. That's fine. I think it was enough time to build. They could have given her meaningful feuds if they wanted, if it meant that she would get the title back eventually. But there was time to give her 6 weeks, 6 pay-per-views. Maybe it wasn't enough time. But still, they could have made it a story that she goes against Stephanie again and wins the belt back. They could have made it something. Just because 6 weeks not enough of a feud, fine. Giulia can come back and get the belt, and we can talk more business. There's ways around this, guys, but it's just lack of work, I guess. They could have continued establishing her as a dominant champion still, even after losing it, by chasing the belt. But I guess it wasn't enough time for casual fans to get attached to her. Maybe that's why the 6 weeks didn't work out. And this is the moment that it probably hurted her the most. When you bring in a talent of this caliber, you do not cash out the title reign in under 2 months, I guess, if you think about it. Now that I'm thinking about it. This is probably the best way you can protect the investment. Maybe she does win and continue the reign, and maybe eventually Stephanie beats her later on. But because it was NXT Roadblock in Madison Square Garden, yeah, they had to do something. But Vaquer could have won it, and then Giulia gets it back rather quickly too. That could have been done too. There's many ways around this storyline that could have helped both of them. Then she arrived on SmackDown and Giulia became the Women's United States Champion, not only once, but twice. A record tie-in 2-time Women's United States Champion. On paper, that sounds great, but let's talk about what those reigns actually look like. Because during her first reign, it was 133 days. She defended the title only twice. The internet wrestling community obviously noticed about this, fans noticed. The conversation was everywhere about how short this reign was. 100 days into that reign, people were pointing out she had not wrestled a single title defense, which was bad in her, bad on creative for not doing something. You know, these mid-card titles are basically TV championship. They should be defending it on TV as often as possible. Maybe not to the point that it gets watered down, but they have to be very creative. If they have to do a John Cena title defense tour, whatever, the U.S. title, what did they call it? The U.S. title challenge for her, fine. If it meant to give her more ability, time to show what her wrestling chops are, the better. But unfortunately, she was walking around SmackDown holding a championship, just like internet, like the wrestling community using it as a prop. And the critical part of all this, it wasn't her fault. WWE did not book her. This is a fail on creative. Triple H gets mad that fans blaming creative for such a bad run. You didn't give Giulia the opportunity to do a match, wrestled, and do mic work enough. And if her mic work sucks, fine. Let her ability in the ring speak for itself. I'm sorry, Triple H. I am blaming this on you and your team. You failed Giulia. You don't have an issue not failing Io or Rhea or Tiffany Stratton or Jade Cargill or Charlotte. But you failed this woman. Someone you didn't have to train. Someone you didn't have to tell them how to wrestle. She already had it. All you had to do is teach her how to work the mic, how to work TV, because, you know, New Japan Pro Wrestling probably doesn't do TV the way WWE does, which I completely get might be the challenge with hiring Giulia. But that's when you guys strive best. You already half the battle was done for you. You had to show her how to be a WWE TV performer. You failed her. She didn't fail anyone. And that's the shame, because instead no offense, I honestly, Lance Legend, her mic skills is mid, her wrestling is mid, and I feel the only reason she's in this match is because who is she married to? No disrespect to Trick Williams, but I'm sorry, your wife is not there for a high-level title. Maybe take the mid-card title, take the title from Tiffany, and work with that, but she's not ready for the big time. Giulia is. And now, unfortunately, Lash Legend's going to get heat because of this, and it's not on her. Again, another failed in creative, a failed on WWE, not training Lash Legend to be tweaking her skills in the ring, tweaking her skills on the mic. That's on WWE. You have $1 billion business not able to use their money to improve their roster the way that you want it. It's on you, not on the wrestlers. A talent of this caliber needs consistent story, consistent opponent, consistent TV time that builds something for her. And instead, what we got was a title reign that felt like an afterthought, which has been a common thread in WWE with the women's titles for some reason. And it's becoming infected towards the men's titles. We have Liv Morgan coming in defending her title for the first time in 100 days. Freaking crazy. I think they're doing this on purpose to piss us off. And even the defenses they did book were against opponents that did not elevate the title. She should be defending it against high caliber. A Tiffany Stratton, a Charlotte Flair, even though that belt is not Charlotte Flair. If Charlotte loses, it's not a big deal. And I guess that's some of the things people complain who watch Unreal, that the writers think that if a mid-card person faces against a Charlotte or a Becky or a Bailey, Bailey, Becky, and Charlotte shouldn't be losing to them. That's horseshit. Why not? Have these older women wrestlers who've been in the company longer help elevate the new talent. Now, you can make it a trick win, a sneaky win, a dirty win to keep their stock in check, but they should still be okay with them losing. If Charlotte Flair loses to Giulia and her stock goes down, then Charlotte Flair was never the star that you guys thought she was. But I tell you right now, if Charlotte loses against her, she will be okay, because she's that person. And if Becky loses or Bailey loses to her, they'll be okay. And if they're not the star. You didn't develop them as a star. That no matter, even with losses, they will be okay. How many times has The Rock lost against Triple H? How many times has The Rock lost to people like Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle and Chris Jericho? Chris Jericho beat both Stone Cold and The Rock on the same freaking night. And The Rock and Stone Cold are still okay. Do you see that? Do you guys notice that everyone still loves The Rock and Stone Cold? Even after all those losses, people still love them. They would, if they are doing a signing event at a fucking Dunkin' Donuts, there will be a line around the block, if not twice as long, because that's who they are. You guys built those characters correctly. The problem is with WWE, they have a fucking lack of ability to raise these stars the proper way like those were. If you did, there's no issue of you guys allowing these people to lose to younger talent. And this is why you're failing these people. Giulia was such an easy person to not have a hard time developing. But hey, apparently we're supposed to be mad at the roster. I'm not going to be mad at the roster. I'm going to be mad at you guys. Because I've been here long enough to know when it's a writer's mistake or a talent relation mistake versus a wrestler's mistake. I've been long enough in the game. Sorry. This is where I need to be honest with you about what we are looking at with all this. This is not a bad looking decision. This is, like I said, it's a pattern. WWE has this history. Besides what I talk about, WWE also has this history in bringing international women talent that comes in with already the credibility, with a track record, with an audience already built, and doing absolutely nothing with them. When Giulia lost in 2 minutes last night, it was not just bad for her. It was bad optics for the entire women's division on SmackDown. Do they realize that? Are you telling... You're basically telling the audience, the fans who have been watching this woman carry matches for a few years now across multiple countries, that Lash Legend is worth more than she is right now. And Lash Legend hasn't been international. And this was all done in one night. And even worse, the night before SummerSlam. And this 5 women's ladder match, Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Charlotte Flair, Chelsea Green, and Lash Legend. This is what we have now. Charlotte Flair, a woman with more title reigns than most people have had hot meals, to be honest. And Giulia, who has accomplished more in women's professional wrestling across Japan, the UK, and the United States, does not even make this card. That is the status of her booking right now. It's freaking crazy. Here's what should have happened. Giulia should have been one of the original 4 qualifiers. Not fighting for the last spot, not losing in 2 minutes in that match at SummerSlam, point blank, full stop. If this is truly about an interim championship, a bridged title to hold the division while Rhea recovers, then you want your best woman in that match. And by every metric that matters, Giulia is one of your best women out there in that thing. One of the best women in that roster right now. But instead, WWE just used her as a, I don't know, cannon fodder to give Lash Legend a cheap moment on this night before SummerSlam. WWE does not know what they have with Giulia. That's the bottom line, in all honesty. It's truly sad. And until this booking starts reflecting what this woman actually is, a world-class performer with a resume most women in that locker room cannot match at all, we are going to keep having this sad conversation. Anyway, drop your thoughts in the comments. Is WWE burying Giulia, or is there a plan here we are not seeing yet? I want to hear from you guys. And as always, hit the like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. We are trying to grow. We are trying to get better as we go. We may have missed takes. Maybe our takes don't agree with yours, but it's all about the fun, about having these discussions, important discussions. Maybe you don't agree with me about this, but it's okay. We are here to have a nice conversation as civilized humans, not as trolls. But as always, if the tea hit right, hit the like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.